playing for Brian Clough was, it stayed with me, you know, the things that I learned, the simplicity, the clarity of message has really almost come to the fore now that I'm coaching. As a player, it was the principles and the standards like you've referred to, and also the other players in the team, the demand from them, because they obviously had worked with him longer, and when a young player got an opportunity to go into the team there and training with the team on a day-to-day basis, you know, the whole package just really influenced you as a player. But there was, Forest at that time didn't speak, there was no written down game model or philosophy, and there wasn't a lot of tactical preparation, but there was a way of playing. You know, it was just learned through through games, and literally the team sheet would go up. You'd come back from training on a Friday after training, you'd walk down the river, train, come back 12:30 on a Friday, and the team would be pinned on the board 1 to 11, and you knew what position you were playing on what number strip you were wearing. If you were 7, you were playing on the right. If you were 11, you were playing on the left. And the players knew how to play. And going back to my point, in my opinion, the genius was in the clarity and the simplicity. And now that I'm coaching, that's something I'm very conscious of, very aware of, and the power of it. So something that I've started to think about a lot is, I obviously got to play for Brian Clough at the end of his managerial career, and by that time he had the presence, he had the success, you know, he was able to influence because of who he was and the respect that his players had for him. I would love to have seen how he did it before the success, you know, and how closely his management style related to that, and his ability to influence players. Of course, it's easy to influence players when you've won the trophies he'd won. By the time I got to work with him, if he said something, you listened, of course you did. I would love to see how his personality was and the way he influenced his teams and players at the beginning of his managerial career, before he'd had that success. Because obviously, in my opinion, it's harder to do that. You have to really, how do you find a way to influence the players? Of course, at that period of his managerial career, he possibly wasn't working with international players that he went on to work with. You know, he would literally speak to a central defender who he'd put in the team to be physical and head the ball, because that was the profile that he wanted. He would literally say, son, you are not a good player. When you've got the ball, pass it to him, because he's a good player. And everybody finds that funny, of course, and his delivery, his way to influence, but he was getting his point across. For me, the biggest compliment I can give him, and I'm stealing it actually, it was Martin O'Neill who I heard say it. And out of all the ex-players that have played for Brian Clough, I feel Martin really captured it. It was actually a tribute after he'd passed away, after Brian Clough had passed away. Martin said that his players wanted to play for him. And for me, that is the X factor. You know, people say, what is Brian Clough's X factor? What is Sir Alex Ferguson's X factor? I didn't play for Sir Alex Ferguson, but I was lucky enough to play for Brian Clough, and for me that really captured it. His players wanted to play for him, and you know, how, as the manager, the head coach, how do you create that kind of environment? And it's through huge influence, not only on the training grounds on a match day, but it's in the player's life, it's in their family, it's everything. And Brian Clough would influence how the young players spoke and pronounced their words, and cut their hair, but it was done for the right reasons. He was trying to prepare them for their whole life.